Hi everyone, my name is Leon Booth and I'm a research fellow at the George Institute for Global Health. Today I want to give you a very quick overview of what the future of alcohol deliveries might look like and the potential implications for public health outcomes. I'd just like to also acknowledge the collaborators on the project, Simone Pettigrew and Victoria Farah. So what will the future of alcohol deliveries look like? Well, we're already seeing autonomous delivery options emerging around the world. And you can see some examples in the pictures there. They're things like flying drones, these little street robots, or even self-driving vending machines that are autonomously delivering products to people. It's expected that by automating delivery services, these vehicles are likely to make it even cheaper and quicker to get things delivered to our doors than ever before. They also might represent new avenues for marketing unhealthy products, as you can see with that self-driving vending machine picture on the left. It's covered in KFC branding. So what did our research do? Well, we conducted a national survey and also interviewed some participants in Australia. And the research really focused on asking people if they lived in a world where autonomous delivery services were available, how would their lifestyle behaviors change? And what we found is that in the survey, just over a third of the survey respondents said that if autonomous alcohol deliveries were available, they anticipated using them at least once per week. So that's a pretty substantial proportion of people who can see themselves using these products if they did exist. We found that in the survey, it was heavier drinkers were particularly likely to anticipate using these services on a weekly basis, which suggests that it might make it even easier for heavy drinkers to access alcoholic products. And the detailed findings are in the study there that you can see in the image on the right-hand side of the slide. Here are some of the quotes from the interviews that we conducted. So you can see some people really liked the idea of having autonomously delivered alcohol. So the top quote there, I think it's a great idea. There's nothing worse than running out of alcohol when you're having a party, which is a little bit concerning because it suggests that people are expecting to use this service when potentially they've already had quite a bit of alcohol to drink and they've run out. And a similar quote there at the bottom, we run out of champagne. The great thing about this service is that you could use it to get something to your house. But this participant did acknowledge that for your health and well-being, it's probably not a good thing. Some other quotes around people potentially anticipating how these services might not be great. This person saying that, for some, the alcohol might be convenient, but it might make it too easy for people to drink, and they drink more and more. So this participant anticipating that that ease of access might cause people to drink more alcohol. And some people rightfully pointed out, like the bottom quote here, that there's considerations for responsible service of alcohol. So they're saying obviously you'd have to ensure that it's not being sold to underage people and that it's not being sold to people who may have already consumed too much alcohol. We also asked the survey participants whether they predicted that the availability of these services would change people's alcohol consumption, and almost a half predicted that it would actually increase other people's alcohol consumption if autonomous delivered alcohol was available. And the reasons for the anticipated increase in consumption primarily centered around autonomous deliveries making it even more convenient to get alcohol even quicker. And they also anticipated that because a human wouldn't have to be involved, that autonomous delivered alcohol would be cheaper than current delivery services, which would be appealing to people and potentially increase their alcohol use. So based on the responses to the interviews and the survey indicating that these services are likely to be quite popular for some people, we also wanted to see whether the survey respondents would support a ban on autonomous delivery of alcohol to potentially stop alcohol being even more accessible through this emerging delivery service. And what we saw was about a third said that land-based vehicles shouldn't be allowed to autonomously deliver alcohol, and slightly more, just under a half, thought that delivery via flying drones should be prohibited. We think this discrepancy is because in the interviews, a lot of people raise potential safety concerns if drones are delivering alcohol, because alcohol can be quite heavy. If the drone fell from the sky, it might cause safety issues. So we think that's why support for prohibiting drone delivery of alcohol was slightly higher. We saw that older people and females were more likely to support a prohibition, but that a large proportion of respondents were neutral and undecided, likely reflecting that this service isn't yet available, and maybe some people are struggling to picture how it would actually look in the real world, and are struggling to determine whether they would like that service to be available or not. Some of the interview comments were around, you can't prohibit these things, it's government overreach. And as you can see in the quote there, kind of comments around it'd be hard to restrict people from using these services. And even, if they've already used it, how are you going to police it and say that they can't buy any more that same day? So thank you for listening. I hope that's been a bit of an insight into what the future of alcohol delivered to the home might look like, and some considerations for public health in terms of how do we try and minimize any negative impacts from these services becoming available, particularly around alcohol deliveries. Thank you for listening.